Hello, ranked Gauntlet enthusiasts, and people just looking to score some PvP rewards. We are once again reviewing the bans and ups, as well as making sample teams. I am sorry to report that this is actually not my first impressions, but my second impressions, because I tried to record this earlier, and it ended up being 44 minutes, which is just not okay. So we're doing this again, and we're going to try and speed it up. Okay, so for band 2, we've got Evelyn, Yang Harim, Lee Suyeon, Rafaela Jury, Carmen, Shaolin, Casey Binns, Administration Rifleman, and Horizon. That is a lot of band 2s. With Evelyn and Carmen both being at band 2, that means they are really not realistic options for healers at all. I thought at band 1 they were going to be seeing less use, and that Claudia would be people's main's choice. But for some reason, Claudia remains unbanned. So, yeah, I guess we're going to be seeing even more Claudia and even less of Carmen and Evelyn. Though there are, I guess, other options for healing. Chinatsu is still there, even though she's a bit more of a support rather than a healer. But she's an option. Yeah, I'd say Claudia is going to be the main healer this week, just because of the bans. Uh, Awakened Horizon is banned too, so that's really unusable outside of like really low leagues for people who just absolutely don't know how to deal with Awakened Horizon. Maybe some people will still be using her to rush, but Awakened Horizon banned 2 is just not usable. No, I don't think so. But Awakened Lee Suyeon, her arch rival, is also banned 2 and also unusable, which means the skies are going to be pretty free this week. Rearmed Shaolin is banned 2, which is also not really usable. At 6 cost, she's pretty much an awakened unit, except for, less damage, less health, less everything. That's really not an option for anyone, I would say, for Crystal Shaolin. Rearmed Casey Binns is banned 2, which is interesting, because she was banned 1 last week. I actually have learned since the last episode that the algorithm bans are based on 2 weeks worth of data, based on how many wins units actually got. So it's possible that Casey Binns is now banned too, because yeah, a ton of people were running her in that first week, and some people were still maybe running her last week, and I guess altogether that came out to being enough to justify ban 2. Administration Rifleman, ban 2. It's definitely interesting to see that they were successful last week, even with Rearm King. Rafaela Jury, ban 2. Good riddance. We shouldn't be seeing any more of her this week, and that is for the best. But yeah, as for ban 1s, ban 1 Gremory, say usable if you really like her, because she's kind of unique in the sense that she's both a sleeper and a frontliner. Rita ban 1. I don't have Rita, so I'm not really sure if she's usable at ban 1. It might not be the worst week for her, just because Awakened Lee Suyeon is banned, but it's definitely disadvantaged at ban 1. Einstein's Spy, ban 1. Now, Einstein Spy ban 1 is interesting because their biggest weakness is going to be Harab, and because bans and ups actually do affect whether a unit can be mind controlled by Harab's special. Harab mind controls units that are 2 cost and lower with her special attack for up to 10 seconds. And at ban 1, Einstein Spy are actually 3 cost and therefore immune to Harab's shenanigans. I mean, actually, the second one of the twins is a summon, so I guess for 10 seconds the other one will be taken over. and I guess they'll like fight each other or something. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but they're definitely less vulnerable. You're not going to run into a situation where you deploy Einstein Zwei to protect you, they deploy Harab, they take him over, and you just have lost your front line. So, yeah, I would say in some ways Einstein Zwei might not be the worst choice this week. Awaken Jake is banned, which is not very common to see. I suppose people were using him against King and getting some success. Also against Rearm Titan, which remains free this week. Ban 1 Orca. I think she's a somewhat popular choice for a frontliner with a King team, so she's banned. Thunderbird banned. And Replacer King banned. As for banned ships, the Gleipnir pod type is banned too, which is unusable. The Lake Superior ban 1, which I think the Lake Superior is a strong enough ship that it's probably usable at ban 1, but also if people keep on using it and winning, it'll probably reach ban 2 next week, as it was last week. Blue Bridge Mark 2 ban 1, Enterprise ban 1. Now, Enterprise ban 1 is interesting. Enterprise I don't think is really a great PvP ship, but you know, there it is. And Albion ban 1. I think the Blue Bridge and the Albion being ban 1 is going to be probably vote bans. Actually, no, not necessarily. I really thought Awakened King, or Replacer King rather, and the Blue Bridge would be getting a heavier ban after how much use they were seeing last week. And yeah, Albion and Thunderbird continue to be banned, so Terror teams continue to be disadvantaged. Replacer King ban 1 and Blue Bridge ban 1 means that Replacer King is still usable. It's definitely disadvantaged, but usable. I'm really hoping that people have had their fill of Replacer King comps last week, and that they'll just move on to something else, because I mean, honestly, wasn't that enough for Replacer King already? But yeah. Band ships, right, we got them. Let's see what's the up units. Up units are going to be Dash, Triina, Dracasia, and non-rearmed Elizabeth. Triina is kind of interesting. She basically deploys at your backline regardless of where you try to place her, and she does slowly build up deployment energy and provides some small buffs to units. So yeah, at ban 1 she's definitely, I would say, usable. She can be used as a cycler to try and let heavier teams with high deployment costs, draw through their possible units faster. Since at cost 1 you can just place her and forget about her and draw your next card. Dracasia is going to be good for Striker Rush teams, and since the New Detroit is free, I would say we're more likely to see more Striker Rush teams, which personally I don't really understand as a team comp, but you know, some people like them. I've especially seen more Japanese players running Striker Rushes, and they're definitely at an advantage because Dracasia's a pretty core Strike Rush unit. But yeah, so we've figured out the bans. What's not banned is the real question. Now, Claudia is not banned. She's probably, like I said, going to be the main healer. Awakened Amy is not banned. The the casting bans were unable to hit Awaken Amy. I don't think it was possible to vote for her last week because she kept on getting vote banned for so long. So Awaken Amy is free, and that is going to be our main cosmic threat this week. Since Shuri's out, Replacer King is disadvantaged, Terror comps are disadvantaged. Terror comps, for those of you wondering, are basically fast siege teams, which are like Thunderbird They are Albion, because Albion lets you get shields for all the units that you deploy, and also lets you stealth units, which both of these things are very helpful for the kind of teams that terror comps are. A terror comp is basically, yeah, like Thunderbolt is a pretty key unit in it. Regular Horizon is good because of its knockback once it gets enraged. Rearmed Kang to just get on top of the ship and damage it. Rearmed Elizabeth for the same reason. Awakened Mina also for the same reason. All of these kind of forward deployment units to just basically try and bomb the ship rather than deploying an actual siege unit to like get there slowly. Um, Along with them, there's yeah, I forgot what her name is, but there's that one siege girl that's also very popular. So yeah, terror comps are like teams that are dedicated to trying to destroy an enemy ship and just ignoring their units as much as possible. And yeah, they're not super beloved, and so people keep on banning them. And that's always good. I'm always in favor of teams actually having to face your opponent rather than just trying to destroy the ship outright. But yeah, so aside from Awaken Amy, our options for healers, mostly Claudia. I guess Shinatsu also an option. Hmm. Arius also an option. For frontliners, with Rearmed Orca, Rearmed Casey Bins, and Awakened Jake being banned, that definitely leaves Rearmed Esterosa in a good spot, especially with her mortal enemy, Rearmed Shaolin, being banned. I would say this is probably a good week for Rearmed Esterosa. Serapel is free. Awaken Hilda is free. And Awaken Hilda is not super popular in higher leagues because there's a lot of good options for melting defenders quickly. A lot of fast attacking units. So Awaken Hilda doesn't do super well against those. But at lower leagues, when people don't really know how to deal with an Awakened Defender, she should be a very powerful option. Um, who else have we got? Regular Horizon, like I said, is free. And Regular Horizon, also a pretty cool option. Awaken Lee Soo-yeon is banned, so that means the skies are relatively safe. So Rosaria is going to be a decent anti-defender option, and Ludmilla is going to be good at anti-striker and just generally a good unit to play. Uh, yeah, especially with Crystal Shaolin, I think this is going to be a really key week for Ludmilla. In terms of other striker killers, besides Ludmilla, I guess Rearmed Mia could work potentially. Um, Ifrit is free, and you could run that either as anti-striker or anti-defender, depending on how you want to gear it. And, I mean, I guess Awaken Amy, because she is technically a sniper, not technically, she is a sniper, um, she can do decent damage against strikers. I don't know that it count on her for that role, but, yeah, if you run her with one more unit of that sort, I would say you probably are going to be good to go. As for defender killers, only admin rifleman banned, so it's going to be mean Rearmed Hansorum is back from her week of ban. She took a nice break, a little vacation, so she's back to usable, and I'm sure lots of people will be running her. Um, Lee Yuri is an option. as is Ifrit. Like we said, it can be run either way with anti-striker or anti-defender, depending on how you gear her. What else have we got? Yeah, I think, yeah, the Yuri, Rosaria, Hansorim, Rearmed Hansorim, and Ifrit. Yeah, I think that's the main ones. Let's see. Yeah, frontliners are definitely kind of at a disadvantage this week. Okay, sure. That's the bans, that's the ups. Well, let's go build some teams. So, first team is going to be my comfort pick. The kind of units that I usually use, that I found to be effective generally. So, even though it's a ban 1, I'll still probably run the Lake Superior. Um, and I'll probably run Kimana. That's the old reliable team. So Jake is banned, can't take him. Ministra is free though, and that sounds like a good choice to me. Like we said with Esterosa, she's free and a good option for the leader slot because that gives her 8 seconds of invincibility, which can be removed by buff removers, but yeah. Even without that, I think she's still pretty good, especially at 3 cost. Let's see what else we got. Miriam Hansorim, Claudia, Awaken Amy, since I happen to have pulled for her. And this is... It's a rare treat to be able to use Awakened Amy, honestly. Not a rare treat to be on the receiving end of her, which I am sure we all will be experiencing this week. Just because you're running Awakened Amy doesn't mean your opponent won't be. And you're going to have lots of pulling matches. Yeah, definitely running Awakened Amy. Ludmilla, like I said, really good choice this week. What else? Let's go back here. Yeah, let's say Riam Kang. And what are we missing? Now we got plenty of disruption. We've got... Oh yeah, we need more front line. Okay. Oh, right. Let's go with, yeah, let's go with probably Horizon. Okay. So, yeah, basically with this team, we've got, yeah, our nice reliable frontliners, a defender and a striker. We've got some defender killers. Even though Minister's not really a defender killer, she's usually built with a Maze Haste set. And consequently, she's going to have less anti-defender damage. But, you know, still with all her ground damage subs, she'll still be able to make some impact on opposing defenders. And we've got Ludmilla as our main anti-striker damage, and Amy can provide some anti-striker damage too. Although, like Ministra, she's usually built with Maze Haste or something of that nature, and so she doesn't really usually prioritize anti-striker options on her gear, instead going for cooldown reduction or haste. Riam King for some more disruption, even though realistically Awaken Amy is almost all the disruption you're gonna need on one team. And Claudia for heals. And I think that's probably a workable team this week. And for a second team, let's go with the Gleipnir armor type for a ship. Let's go with my Sigma because she's available. Something a little different, maybe a little less awakened. Let's go with Laura for the leader. Let's see. What have we got? Ifrit. Do. Yeah, level her up. Claudia for the healer. Let's go with Riam Hansaram for now, because she is farmable, and she only uses soldier cores to upgrade and to rearm. So I really think that everyone should just be trying to get at least one copy of Riam Hansaram. I think she's just too good to miss, especially since she doesn't really get in the way of you improving your counter teams. Yeah, the most difficult thing about Rian Hansorum is the credit cost to level her up and for the rearm itself. But yeah, everything else, soldier cores are usually pretty free for a lot of people who focus on counters, and she uses purple upgrade tickets or rearm tickets, so your gold ones will be safe. So yeah, everyone should just hopefully have a copy of her, just like with admin riflemen who are banned this week. Let's see, what else have we got? What else can we do that is slightly different from the other team that we've already built? Yeah, we can run Rosaria. For disruptors, we can run maybe Eugen. What else do we need? We need some actual frontliners. We don't have any yet. Let's go with twins, even though they're band 1. Like I said, that's not like all bad. And here, if I had Serapel, or if I had rearmed, I mean not rearmed, I mean awakened Hilda, I would probably go with her, but I don't, so I can't. Yeah, my defender options are pretty limited, especially with the Jake ban. Let's just filter by defenders. Honestly, I don't even know. Do I have anything? No, not really. As you can see, I don't have a lot of defender options. Jake's banned, Casey's banned. Stronghold's not usable. These guys are all kind of eh. So yeah, I guess let's go with Horizon. Yeah, this probably seems fine. We've got some defender killers. For this team in particular, I would say if you were going to run this, you should build the Ifrit to be anti-striker. Because, you know, if you have Ludmilla, you should run her instead. But this is, you know, sample teams. I'm trying to build something slightly different with what I've got. Riam Eugen should be helpful against Awakened Amy. But the thing you want to keep in mind is that she is most effective at killing backlines that are not awakened, because her special skill actually does not execute awaken units. But still, she is, you know, if you build her with correct gear and not like this, with like haste items, I mean not haste, excuse me, with attack speed set, then yeah, she should be recharging her special pretty quickly, and her passive also shoots at the back line. So overall, I would say Eugen might help you deal with Awaken Amy. There's lots of other backline assassin options, like Rearmed Kang and Rearmed Elizabeth. all of which are unbanned this week. The thing to keep in mind with Amy First Wing is when she uses her special, she gets a shield, and a shield will protect against any amount of damage until it breaks. So you won't be able to one-shot Awaken Amy when she has her shield up. You need to first either wait for the shield to expire, which takes about 10 seconds, or find some other way to chip away at it, and then try to drop your one-shot kill on her. But yeah, Awaken Amy, basically when you deploy her, she pulls half the front line. Not the front line, she pulls half a map away, up to half a map away, all the strikers and not strikers. What is going on? Okay, let's start over with Awaken Amy. When you deploy her, she is able to pull all enemy rangers and snipers and supporters from up to half a map away relative to her deployment zone. Which means she's probably going to pull your whole back line and then follow up with a special and kill him off, which is not fun, which is why most people ban her. Vote to ban her every week, because not a lot of people want to deal with that. And when she has a good maze haste set with upgraded T7 maze crowns, she's going to have a lot of hit, and it's going to be hard to evade that sort of hit value. Like, one of the ways that you can try to counter Amy normally is make sure that your backline units have a lot of evasion, because yeah, if they manage to evade Awaken Amy's pull, then they just won't be pulled by it, and you'll be okay. But yeah, a well-geared Awaken Amy is gonna have a very high amount of hit. And yeah, I would say normally, if you run the Gleipnir pod type ship, it gives up to 350 evasion to counters, which would be super helpful dealing with Awaken Amy. But the Gleipnir pod type is at band 2 this week, which is completely unplayable, I would say. It's just a genuinely bad idea to run a ship at band 2. So yeah, no, everyone's gonna be pulled around by Awaken Amy. For all the people who suffered through Replacer King last week, are now going to be dealing with Awaken Amy this week. So my sympathies to you if you don't have either. Yeah, I would say the best ways to deal with Amy are either to try and kill her off with like backline damage. But that's already after she's deployed and, you know, pulled your units. If you can get a lot of evasion on your backline units, or use backline units with evasion, that should be good. If you can use units with really high ranges, like Ludmilla and other snipers, that would be good. If you can use units that teleport backwards after taking a certain amount of damage, like Ministra and Awaken Maria, which recently came out, and Awaken Lee Seo-yoon. No, that's not her name. Awaken Seo-yoon. The ranger. That's like on the ground. Yeah, she also teleports backwards when she takes a certain amount of damage. So yeah, Awaken backline units. Lily, I guess, can also work. Units with really far range can work. Or you can focus more on strikers and other ways of dealing damage with the front line. Awaken Yuna, for example. Even though she's a striker, as long as you have her, you know, behind a defender, Awaken Yuna should be relatively safe against Awaken Amy. But yeah, just basically try to not run too many squishy backline units. Don't be over dependent on them. And yeah, hopefully have some backline assassination options of your own. And hopefully some decent damaging front or midline units, or units with like high health pools. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Good luck for this week. And yeah, see you next time. Same great place, same great time. Get subscribed.